Hey guys, welcome back to another video over here on the Chinese Zodiac and Horoscopes. Today we're going to be doing a reading for you guys born in the year of the pig. So welcome back all my piggy pals. How are we doing this week? Let's find out, shall we? As we shuffle these cards around, move them up and down and pick 3 out for you guys. Let's see what we've got, shall we? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Move them all around. Mix them all up a little bit. And then we'll stop about there. I'm going to take that one from the bottom. I'm going to take that one from the middle. I'm going to take that one from the top. What have we got? Okay, so we got the 2 negatives there to start us off, but we are going to move on to and finish with that positive there. Let's not be too downhearted with the 2 negatives, however, because as I've said before, black isn't always an attack. White isn't always all right. It all depends on those cards and what they are when we flip them over. Got the black tiger coming into play. Maybe we're feeling a little bit emotional, feeling a little bit heart heavy, maybe. Have we had our hearts broken? Have we had some sort of disappointment? Now, the tiger and the pig are incredibly compatible. They're on the same soulmate line, which means you're actually technically here right now because you're supposed to be. Even if it's feeling a little bit rough and tough, you're supposed to be going through this. You're supposed to be experiencing this. You're supposed to be getting what you can from this heavy moment, this hard time, this emotional kind of thing that you're going through. Maybe you're finding it hard to forgive someone. Maybe you're finding it hard to maybe apologize and be forgiven. Forgiveness seems to be the thing here. It's definitely something that's upset you, something that's got to you, something that has brought you down a little bit, maybe even more than a little bit. Again, this is all supposed to feel this way though. I feel maybe like something impulsive went wrong, something that you necessarily didn't have time to think about, and you just kind of went with it and you jumped in and you went along with something, but it turned out not to be the smartest idea. You just followed everybody else. They all bought a ticket to the Titanic. You went with them because you didn't want to miss out. And oh no, now you're stuck there in a lifeboat floating in the middle of the ocean. It's kind of like a bit, not like that at all, but it's a bit like, you went along for the ride and the ride turned sour. It's a bit of a disappointment. You feel it. You feel it because it's disappointing. It's something you shouldn't have done. It's somewhere you shouldn't be. But you are there. You are there now. And even though the brakes have been slammed on, everything's come to a stop, everything's come to a halt, it doesn't necessarily mean it's over. We could always get out and walk and continue the journey that way. Rooster coming in. Maybe this has got something to do with not just a emotional thing, but also a financial thing. Something's come at a cost. Something has come at a cost. Now, the rooster and the pig, they can get along quite well. But you need to start being honest with yourself. What is the true cost of this? We need to imagine that we could go back in time and stop ourselves buying the ticket and getting on that boat that is inevitable to sink. What would we do to not do that? Well, we'd weigh up the pros and cons. The first con, and the most obvious, being it's going to sink. So we're going back in time. We know it's going to sink. You know what the cost is. Not only is there a financial cost because you've got to buy the ticket, but there's also a bit more to pay once you get on that boat. And that's not necessarily financial. So the cost is going to be quite dire for you. Whether it's a financial one or, more likely, as I'm seeing it, is more of an emotional one. You've put in a lot of energy. You've put in a lot of time. You've put in a lot of focus. All of these things have been exchanged for things that you may not necessarily feel are fair. The exchange hasn't been fair. Again, disappointment. That's what it's saying. That's what it's meaning. Feeling very disappointed. Again, because of a decision that you shouldn't have necessarily been not left out of, but more not involved in. I don't know. But you didn't make the decision. It was impulsive. So you just ended up going or doing it or being involved in it or saying it or for whatever happened, ending up exactly where you are because of impulse, or based around not thinking of things clearly. Because that rooster is also a thinker card, part of the thinker triangle. It's in the negative, which means thinking isn't necessarily been your strongest sort of, weapon of choice this time around. You didn't think it through. Even the communicator card, the tiger, is in the negative, so we didn't even talk about it. You didn't talk about it, you didn't think about it, you just did it. And unfortunately, that's now come at a cost, which unfortunately is now going to make you feel disappointed and have to carry that heavy, heavy heart for a little while. At least until you can work out what to do in this circumstance, or how to, I would say, maybe recover from it, or come back from it, get back on your feet from it in such a way. Because that rooster, again, is not thinking as it should, which means, or suggests, you're not thinking as you should, which could be because you're not in the emotional place to do so. However, we're going to work something out, because there you are. That's you. Unfortunately, though, pigs don't necessarily get on with other pigs. They don't. Pigs actually rub each other up the wrong way. But we are seeing it in a positive place. We are seeing that it is something that is on your soul path, which means it is for you. It's your soul contract. It's your soul journey. It's your fate, your destiny. It is for you. And change is coming. That is a catalyst card after all. So something is going to change. And even though the pig doesn't necessarily get along with the pig, it could be uncomfortable. It's going to be something you don't necessarily like. You're not going to be happy about it. But this is almost the equivalent of the ship is sinking. You may have preferred to be in your lovely little cabin while you were floating, and it's probably a lot more comfortable than being in the lifeboat. But let's be logical here. Being in the lifeboat is definitely better than sitting in that sinking ship. So, okay, the cruise it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but it's better off being in that lifeboat than on the sinking ship. Even if it is uncomfortable, even if it is cold, even if it is wet, even if it is not as you expected. And with that catalyst as well, we also have to remember that it's very slow. So it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to come in very slowly. And that's one of the reasons I think that you're going to feel uncomfortable with it, because you want things to happen now. So you don't have to go through all of the hassle and the effort, I suppose, of dealing with it all as it happens slowly. If you rip it off like a band-aid, you'd be happier for it, but not necessarily better off for it. As we've already said, that tiger there is your soulmate card. We are learning things here. We are taking experience from this. We're taking knowledge from this. We are taking wisdom from this. We are growing from this. We are leveling up from this. And in order to do that, you are going to have to do it the long way round. There's no shortcuts. You're going to have to be patient. There's no rushing it. And you've already spent enough in whatever it's cost you to get this far. And it cost you a lot. So much so now that we are going to walk on the edge of caution. We are going to take things slowly, because you can't afford any more mess ups. You can't mess up anymore. You cannot cock it up anymore, because you can't afford to. So although you may feel cheated, disappointed, uncomfortable, as I've said, and I'll say it again, it's far better to be in the lifeboat than it is to be on a sinking ship. Unless, of course, your plan is to go down with the ship. There is that option. You could be in a place of self-sabotage, where you did sink your own ship, and now you're not necessarily fussed about getting in the lifeboat, because you always intended to go down with that ship. But that is self-destructive. That will come at a higher cost that you can't afford, and that will bring you full circle back to here at this point anyway. So we'll see, won't we, what happens, if it's sink or swim, next week when we come back and do another reading for you guys born in the year of the pig. My next reading will be for those born in the year of the rat, so if you're interested in what those guys are up to, I'll see you over there next. If not, no worries. I'll just catch you in a reading for the pig people next time when I come back and do a reading for you. Thanks for watching. Love and peace.